Vamos, señoras.
Perú.
¿Dónde vamos?
Perú.
Hi, and welcome to Buenavidaroute. Today we're going to start a mini-series on my trip to Peru. Earlier this year, I went to Peru with my stepmom, my aunts, and a friend of ours. So in this first video, you will see our phase of visiting Lima. Okay, today we are at La Huaca Puquiana, and we're about to receive the tour. It's going to tell us all about these ruins. In the morning, we went to La Huaca Puquiana, which are adobe brick ruins, which the guide explained how most of Lima would have been like this, but that is constructed over most of them now. Now, it is quite impressive to see these ruins thousands of years old, surrounded by skyscrapers. This pyramid was built by the Lima culture, but the upper parts was actually after them, about 700 years AD, in under the Wari Empire, who under battles took over the Limas and converted the top layers of the pyramid into a cemetery for the nobility. Even now, you will be able to see it is still being excavated, and it was explained to us that they're at least 25 years away from finishing the excavation and being able to expose all sides of the pyramid. From this viewpoint, they could see the ocean. The ocean god was their maid god, so up here they feasted on shark meat and chicha de arejora, which is this blue corn, purple corn fermented drink that they do in terracotta pots. Of course, nowadays it's impossible to see the ocean. The only ocean that is visible from here now is made out of concrete. Here they also showed us all the different edible plants and herbs they planted and still consume, like cotton, corn, coca leaf, beans, mate, ají, or the name that they give to spicy peppers, and of course potatoes. Some even offered to the gods in order for them not to spite them. One of the things that surprised us all was how carnivorous Peruvians are and how many different animals are consumed on top of the typical beef, chicken, and pork that we're all accustomed to. They also eat duck, rabbit, sheep, goat, llama, vicuñas, alpacas, and cuy, which is the name that they give guinea pigs. So our first day in Lima was mine as my stepmom. We stayed in Miraflores in a cute apartment that was well equipped and close to the beach, if you're into gray, cold, and rocky beaches, that is, because it's always foggy in Lima. The next day, we decided to go to La Plaza de Armas, which in Peruvian towns is basically the center where all governmental, business, and tourist attractions revolve around. Peru, at this moment, seems to be going through quite a shift in their political ambience, and that has caused blockades and protests, which we experienced as there was quite a bit closed and places we simply couldn't go. While in La Plaza de Armas, we went to have lunch at their historical Bar Cordano, which has this feeling of a speakeasy from back in the 1940s. Known for their sandwiches and all the politicians that gather here to have a drink, yet I had a lengua en salsa, which is beef tongue, rice, and mashed potatoes. And yes, Peruvians are also love eating 2 or more carbs on a single plate. Then we walked to the famous Churro San Francisco, and these churros were completely different than what we were used to. They're more like a filled, sweet, fried bread that looks more like a croissant shape, but elongated, and it's filled with dulce de leche, chocolate, and many more jams. I bought my first painting from this nice man that was wearing a shirt that said Pura Vida. And of course, as a Costa Rican, I obviously had to ask if a tico had given him the t-shirt. After our exploring of Lima, we headed out to Polvos Azules, which is, for lack of a better explanation, a kind of flea market for copies of all brand name clothing and shoes. It is crazy to think that copyright infringement is not even a second thought around here. Then we went to El Barranco, and I do wish we had more time here. It looked like the kind of place you want to watch the sunset while eating at one of the many restaurants overlooking the canyon and ocean. I especially loved all the painting murals and the wooden overpasses. For the nicest thing we saw all day was the water show at their water park. It was very Disneyland-like. It showed the story of Peru from the native years to the conquistadors to modern times. There were also plenty of activities for the whole family, a beautiful walk through the park, and of course some yummy snacks along the way. We finished the day with our friend Doña Betty taking us to eat anticuchos, which is beef heart on skewers, mondongo, which is pig's belly, and choclo, which is corn on the cob, and of course potatoes. Those can never be missed. I honestly wasn't much of a fan of the meat, but the corn was quite yummy. Yet, the best part was the picarones, which are these donut-like pastries with an anise flavor that is served with a fig leaf syrup that was absolutely divine. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit like, and share. This was our short time in Lima, but stay tuned. Our next video will be in Arequipa in the mini-series that was following. So after 2.5 days in Lima, we took our flight over to Arequipa with the intention of getting acclimated to the height, as Arequipa is at 7,661 feet above sea level, or 2,335 meters. Arequipa is a city built with sillar, a white volcanic rock you will later see in the video. It is a colonial and Baroque in architecture, and it's known as the White City, which is surrounded by 4 massive volcanoes that for most of the year, its tops are snow-covered. We got there late one afternoon and drove directly to our Airbnb, not while admiring the fact that anywhere you turn you saw volcanoes, yet the most predominant is Misty, which stand on its own like a perfect cone. So afterwards, we decided to go to the Plaza de Armas, which, as you now know, is where the Peruvian center is of everything that happens. By then, we were ready for dinner and was recommended a restaurant that sadly ended up not being great. Yet we got our first try of palta rellena, which is their filled avocado, and rocoto, which is their version of a stuffed pepper. The presentation was beautiful. On our way back down, which the only thing that made this trip even tolerable was us spotting vicuñas, which is one of the 2 South American camelids. Yes, family of the camels. This was truly the highlight of our day, so enjoy the video as I show you some of these beautiful specimens. By the time we got back down the mountain, after basically 8 hours of traveling, we were all starving. It was late afternoon and we hadn't had any lunch. The driver took us to a really nice restaurant, but once again, we were treated dismissively, the bottom line rude and condescending by the waitress. Once we finished, we hurried on over to La Ruta del Sillar, which is a 2-kilometer stretch where they cut and collect the white stone that the city is built with. Plus, they have created a tourist attraction by cutting out a canyon and forms out of the blocks that have been sculpted into lions, bears, tigers, pyramids, horses, people, pretty much everything. But the most impressive is a replica they did on a wall of Petra. That iconic wall in Petra? Yes, they have one in Peru as well. Do be aware that they charged for the entrance, but what we were thrown off a little bit about was the fact that they also charge per area. So we were trying to figure out if it was that each artist got their own fee. So some of the areas are roped off and you have to pay an extra fee to enter that roped off area. They even charge you for the porta potties. The very next day, we flew to Cusco. So stay tuned for the next video as it will show you Cusco, Valle Sagrado, and of course, the reason why we all go to Peru, Machu Picchu.
O al anochecer, vamos a disfrutar la vida. Andrés, la chata y buena vida. Venga.
Sherry preparando la comida y los perritos diciendo pura vida.
If you like this video, please subscribe, hit like, and share. And if you want to watch more of our videos, click to the right.
Y sentirnos en familia.